I can't tell you. I am so excited to tell you what. We have JE VanNatta in the house, and he's down and he's here to talk about Minn Kota products. And of course, I want him just to talk about Quest, but he said we had to mention that Minn Kota had other trolling motors. I said, I didn't care.
We do.
Didn't care. Don't care.
But see, we're on the lake. I mean, look at this.
I know. We got the lake in the background. So, man, ICAST came out and they said, man, look at this trolling motor. Everyone went overboard. First, they went overboard about the Explorer, and now also the Quest. Tell us about this.
Well, what's interesting, the brushless motor got to be big a few years ago. And we actually had a brushless motor a long time ago, but it was a pretty good upgrade, and nobody wanted to pay for it when trolling motors were $1,200 a piece. Well, now that they're much more expensive than that, we brought the Ultrex motor out, the pre-Quest, which was a permanent magnet motor, we call it. And then we brought the Quest out, which is the brushless. Quieter, more powerful, weighs a little bit more than the other motors do, our other trolling motors, but it's a battleship. And typical Minn Kota, we don't build anything that's going to be flimsy or break down easy. We'll run through the weeds, we'll run through the rocks, we'll run through everything, and it will not let you down.
Okay, let's go through this kind of real quick. So when you buy the Minn Kota Quest, and we'll kind of stay on this. Tell us what comes in the package. What comes with it? What does a guy need if he buys it? Does he need anything?
No. If you open up the box,
okay,
we're making an assumption you're running Humminbird products, which a lot of guys that don't run Humminbird will still run the Quest trolling motor, Minn Kota Quest trolling motor. The adapter cables you need are in the box with the unit. So if you've got an Explorer, you got a Helix to hook up to it, we can plug directly into that with the wires and the cables and adapters that are in the box. So there's no aftermarket chasing parts and pieces or calling the dealer and saying, I need an adapter to go from this to that, a round plug to a square plug. They're going to be there available for you.
All right. And so what's the extra prop for? Is it because of people like me?
Well, no, it
comes with an extra prop.
Before we introduced the Quest, we had a sales meeting, and we're up in the northern country, and some people brag about how fast the motors go. So you have our standard wedge prop, which is bulletproof, been around for years, which is your weed prop. And you also have a speed prop. Speed prop is for the guys that are going to be out in the air, not like you here on the river and areas like this. If you're an open water guy, saltwater guy, Great Lakes guy, where you're not worried about running into weeds or grass or anything like that, then the speed prop will give you a little bit more speed out of it. But I'll tell you this, we had drag races at the meeting with other stuff. Well, boys will be boys, right?
Right.
And even with the standard wedge prop on it, we didn't get beat. So we did pretty good.
Yeah, I believe it. My boat's running about 3.6 miles an hour, which is the trolling motor at about 9. So maybe 9.5. My Vexus is, so it's cooking pretty good. It's a 2080 model, so it's Lumen model. So extra prop comes with it, or I should say a different prop, two different versions, and then also the micro control.
Yeah, one of the changes we've done, and I'd like to try to explain to people who were Minn Kota people before to the new Quest motor. Before we had iPilot and iPilot Link motors. iPilot Link motor basically was one that would network into the one boat network. You could operate it from different parts, different spots on the boat or through units. And when Quest came out, we actually reduced the number of SKUs we had in trolling motors because the Quest motor, as it come out of the box, has the micro remote in it, which I tell people think about an iPilot motor. You ran it with the remote. You weren't able to do like follow the contour or something like that, which is a feature of iPilot Link. The Quest motor, if you look under the head, you'll see a little stub out on there, and that's an Ethernet port. You hook that Ethernet port up to your 5-port switch, another unit, and now you had the same features we had with the iPilot Link before. We now call it Advanced GPS. Any motor that we have that has spot lock features available on it, which is the standard Quest, is an Advanced GPS unit. And then if you want to go with the full iPilot Link features, follow the contour, different features like you talked about drift mode before, things you can do that. Then you have to go with the iPilot or the Advanced GPS Link remote like this.
That's right. So this came with it. So that's everything that comes with it.
Correct.
So it's all ready to go. And then you touched on it. This is the Advanced GPS.
Advanced GPS remote.
Yep. And so this is the beast. So
yes.
common uses for this? Usually like walleye or crappie fishermen use these.
Walleye guys, anybody that trolls will use
Right.
this quite often. A lot of the guides up in Table Rock or Taneycomo will use this because they can sit at the back of the boat and they can follow the contours or record a path or a route that they want to drift down or work back down. One of the things I'm really happy with this compared to the old iPilot Link motor is the screen's on top now instead of the bottom.
Yep.
So ergonomically, it's a little bit more efficient for you to use.
Plus, it has cruise control. You set your speed with the up down, and once you set it, it goes to that speed, which is pretty cool. Yep. But it shows on your screen. So the screen, I wish I had a picture of the screen, but this screen up here, if you're running it, it will give you your depth and also water temperature. It gives you a lot of information off
as
this.
You said, if you're trolling, you can adjust your speed. You can bump it up, bump it down to 10 miles an hour just by making the adjustments on the remote itself.
Yeah, tenths. You can go tenths. You can change that. So this obviously, if you're going to troll, I'm going to recommend that you get one of these, especially because that's what we're doing here on Beaver. We're trolling, and you can go to the back of the boat, and you can just sit there, and then you can run it from there, and it really makes quite a difference inside what you're doing. And it has all the functionalities of what you're trolling there, and plus it has 3 favorite
One Boat Network buttons.
Yeah,
right.
So right inside there.
And that's we do a lot of work with disabled vets, a lot of tournaments, benefit tournaments with it. High school kids where you can put them on the front of the boat. You can sit back on the console and operate the boat just like you got your foot on the pedal.
Yeah, so that's pretty neat. But so let's talk. One thing that I noticed coming from a different brand was the foot control. The foot control itself. Mm-hmm. It feels different. Why does it feel so much different?
Well, what we tried to do is if you went from the standard, like say a Fortrex or a Maxim or the original Ultrex, it's the same pedal that we've got before. It looks bigger because there's a couple extra buttons or one extra button on there, an option for you.
Right.
But it's a cable steer pedal. So like an old guy like me that's pedal steer, cable steer forever. When I put my foot on the pedal, I know where the motor's pointed without having to look at it. But what we've got now is of course, you kind of went to our autopilot or cruise control. We've got the spot lock button available for you. We've got a constant on speed, and then, of course, the power on. All right. And spot lock. If you want to spot lock the motor down, you can do all that right off the pedal itself. What we've done, we've got, just like the old Ultrex, we've got cables that go up to an actuators, and from that points forward, it's an electric steer motor beyond the pedal cable actuators. So,
yeah. Makes it very easy if you're maybe using forward-facing electronics and you're looking out there. You can see what direction you need to point and what direction you need to. I've seen someone put like a small bar that has like a little yellow at the end or something to help you see where it goes. But I didn't put that on my boat. I was like, I can tell which way it goes.
Those are aftermarkets, but one thing too is I tell everybody, and again, I'm going to go back to the old days when we were 2D sonar and dropping, spoons on fish. People would complain about not being able to see their bait.
Right.
And I would actually tie us off to a dock somewhere, put the motor in the water, and start dropping baits around the trolling motor to see where the sweet spot is.
Yep.
If you walk to the back of the boat, it's going to tip like this. That sweet spot just changed. So when you're doing any type of live product on a trolling motor, and you can mount ours on directly to the shaft or a competitor's product if that's what you're running. I always tell people, find out where the sweet spot is, where the head is pointed. Make sure that your transducer is pointed the same direction because, the beams on live products, ours is 120 this way, 20 this way. It's a pretty narrow beam. So you need to make sure you've got that pointed right where the motor's pointed.
Well, you touched on it. The shaft of it is actually different too.
It is.
You guys, a mad scientist went crazy at your place.
Well, they're carbon fiber. And that's what we call a double D. So if you notice that what you have, it's flat on the sides and then a radius on the front and back. Mm-hmm. So again, if you've got a live sonar product like ours, we'll bolt right to it. But you've got to maybe make some shimming or some longer bolts to put a competitive product on there. So,
but that's the neat thing is you're able to do that in it. So I bought mine. You have your options when you go to buy a Quest, and it gives you options of what sonar that you want. It built in to your, it would be the housing.
It's the head of the motor.
The head of it. And so what how does that work? And do you know which ones you can get with it?
Oh yeah, the units, the new ones were going to be SIDI built in.
All right.
And we do have what's called DSC, which is our dual spectrum chirp sonar. I'm sorry.
Right.
So if you're running a competitive product on live, and you don't want or need that DISI up in the front because of the product you're running on the front of the boat, you get the standard 2D sonar like you were talking about.
Right.
So most of the units now, you still have options. If you look at it, you're going to see the MR following the unit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one with the micro remote.
Okay.
That's going to have your side imaging, down imaging built into it.
Okay. So that helps if someone's looking at that.
It's easier to rig, so much easier to rig the boat.
Let's talk about hooking power up to it. 2436?
In the Quest motors, it's either or.
Either or.
You do not have to program the motor if you're running 24 volts on a smaller aluminum boat, or 36 volts on a big bay boat or bass boat. The motor will automatically pick up that system and run at that. So our thrust values
I was going to get to the
kind of
thrust.
changed.
Yeah.
We don't talk about thrust as much anymore.
Yeah.
We talk about torque.
Okay.
And the motor has got probably the most torque of anything on the market right now, which pulls you through the weeds, gives you that speed you were talking about before.
Right.
There are some Coast Guard requirements if you go over a certain thrust for kill switches. So we're not going to build on a trolling motor that's beyond that value that we're going to put someone in a position where they have a kill switch on their trolling motor. So
maybe you should just go with superhero ratings.
Yeah.
So, like Spider-Man, and then that would be low because he doesn't have a lot of thrust. And then next would be like Superman would be kind of a medium thrust. And then Hulk.
Okay,
the Hulk version would be like if you need the most power, the most thrust, it'd be Hulk. Now, see, I want residuals.
Maybe we should paint our trolling motors green because that's where we're at. Okay,
look at that, paint them green. That'd be so cool. It'd be bad if your boat had like a green wrap on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can see it. Maybe your boat will end up with one of those.
Probably not. I don't think it'll be green wrap. So you know who I deal with, and they're not going to let me do that.
So you've had trolling motors through the years. You've had different trolling motors. I mean, how do you when you go to find a trolling motor that fits in your boat? Let's talk about shaft length because a lot of people are like, oh, my shaft length needs to be this and my shaft length needs to be that. And so when I bought mine, I had to do a lot of research. So instead of them having to do all the research I had to do, you tell them how they can figure that out.
To select the trolling motor, to start off with just basic trolling motor.
Okay.
We actually have that feature on MinnKotaMotors.com where you can go on there and talk about the size of the boat that you've got, and it's going to tell you what thrust you need.
Okay.
Be it 12 volt, 24 volt, 36 volt, based on the boat itself.
All right.
Now, when you talk about shaft, we run from 45 inch to 52 inch, 60 inch. We have on saltwater products, and you'll probably see it on freshwater, over 100 inch shafts available. One of the reasons you talked about the change in shaft is because of the thrust or torque on motors and shaft deflection. So we had to go to that carbon fiber stiffer shaft in order to be able to function properly on the boat. It depends on the boat. I run, as you know, a Skeeter. 20-foot Skeeter. The 52-inch shaft is perfect for me because I run a Mega Live, I run a Mega 360, and a 45-inch shaft in rough water can breach. The nose is going to come out of the water. 52-inch shaft, you don't have nearly that much issue with it. Now, when you go to a longer shaft, what you have to look at is how it's mounted on the boat, the angle at the bow, and how much overhang you may have on the back of the motor where the head is hanging over the side of the boat to kind of fit the application of the boat that you're running. But what you want to look at primarily as shaft length is the draft of your boat, what kind of water. I tell people the 52-inch shaft at Stockton Lake, Missouri, which is our sailboat lake, our rough water lake, works fine for me there. 45-inch shaft is not quite long enough to stay in the water in some of those big waves. So again, based on the boat, the draft of your boat, the shaft length is what you want to consider.
All right. Tell us what your favorite feature is of the Minn Kota Quest. What would be your favorite?
It's not the newest one. It's a tie. Number one, of course, is spot lock. We were the first manufacturer to have spot lock, the old original spot lock, which was reactive. If we drift off the spot, the motor would drive you back to that location.
Okay.
When we came out with the new spot lock, we were actually up at Minn Kota on the water with the engineers, and I drove the boat past our spot and grabbed a hold and waited for it to go into high bypass and take me back like the old ones did. It doesn't. It's proactive, so it will work to keep you on the spot, on the spot lock location or waypoint you set. The only thing that I run into these days, and just again a week ago, a guy with a small Champion on spot lock thought his motor was overreacting, but you can scale the motor. And what that does, it determines if you got a 22-foot bass boat or an 18-foot aluminum boat. It speeds up or slows down how quickly the motor reacts to it. Because let's say you've got an 18-foot aluminum boat and you've got it on +2 on the scale. Well, it's going to overreact trying to move the boat quicker back to that location. It can't overshoot.
Yeah.
If you scale it down, it eliminates all of that issue.
Do you do that through the One Boat Network?
Yes, yeah. One Boat Network on the app itself or the remote itself right here.
Okay, and another thing is what is pretty cool is you can tell the head of your trolling motor, meaning your prop, what side of it it's supposed to rest on. When you pull it up, you can do that off your app.
By programming it, so some guys like to stow prop out, some guys like to stow the prop in. The old school was prop out, so you didn't bang your boat. Guys that run covers or stored in the covers like the prop in, it's just easier for the cover to fit on it. So you can program it when you pull it up to either go port or starboard on how it's going to nest. When it deploys, you can also program it to line up straight with the front of the boat if you want to. So when you pull it out, the motor will actually calibrate itself or set itself up as pointed straight down the center line of the boat.
I was just going to bring that up because I did that the other day, and I was showing a guy, and he says, "Doesn't all of them do that?" And I go, No. I was like, no, and I programmed it, and I happened to take a couple of pictures. I said, see, there's like 3 pictures of me calibrating it. And I said, is there any other calibrations that need to be done or options?
No, on the trolling motor, scale the boat for reaction on spot lock. And when you calibrate, what you're actually doing is telling the boat where it's pointed.
Right.
So once you've done that, then we know how to orientate the motor as far as stowing or on deployment where it's going to be.
And the GPS doesn't have a puck.
No, it's built. It's built.
It's built in. So don't be looking in your box to try and find find it.
And I'm sorry, but the other thing that you need to check is you can actually calibrate the motor to parallel with the keel. Like I say, if they're going to point it forward, it'll tell you how many degrees the motor sits at an angle compared to the center of the keel of the boat. So that way, when it does deploy, it'll line straight up with the boat.
Nice. Well, that's what you need anyway. Anything else you can tell us about this? Because the trolling motor is usually pretty boring, to tell you the truth. But
some of the features, that I'm really happy with, and most people probably would notice. You talked about the shaft change, but if you look at the motor itself and where it goes into the shaft, in the past the shaft went right into the housing, and now if you look, we've got 6 screws down there, so I can pull that head loose from the shaft. In the past, let's say you ran your transducer into a rock and cracked it, broke it, or it had to be replaced, then you're pulling wires all the way through that shaft. Now there's plugs in the bottom, plugs on the top. So it's very, very easy to service or repair the motor if you have an issue with it. Right.
Well, that does make it a lot nicer. Also I forgot about that, but you lift assist.
Oh, yeah.
Now the lift assist on this is not it's like the Hulk version of lift assist.
Yeah, the cylinder that's in it is calibrated based on the weight of the motor. So
right, but it has dual instead of one. When we went to put ours on, plus when you go and you look and it says it recommends having a second person help you install it. I'm going to change that. I'd put a big extra there and say, you need a second person to help you do it so you don't scrape your boat.
The motor, it's heavy motor.
It's a heavy motor.
It's a heavy motor.
Dude, it's so light. When you pick it up, super light, and then,
No, I mean, to mount it on the boat.
Yeah, to mount it on the boat.
It's heavy, yeah.
Yeah. But it also...
When we set it, I usually ask the guys if you got the heavy end or the light end when you're grabbing the box. Okay, so...
Yeah, really. You should have seen I think it was the Ups guy that came to the house.
Yeah. Well, one of the things about that too, talk about installation, and sorry to jump around.
Well, that's all right.
The whole pattern, if you want to upgrade from a Ford Trex or an old Trex, the whole pattern amount is the same. Now, there's 2 additional holes and a larger bolt we use because of the weight and torque of the motor. Right. That's the only change as far as if you want to upgrade your existing motor up to an old Trex Quest. Very easy to do.
There you go. That takes us to Tackle Time. Tackle Time sponsored by PICO Lures. PICO Lures, of course, has a full line of hard and soft bait. So any kind of game fish you're trying to catch, you can definitely have a PICO lure to do that. Of course, I'm going to recommend, it's this time of year. A lot of people are going crappie fishing. That pointer shad that they have, it comes in like 12 different color patterns. And so if you're in muddy stained water, like up in the river, and you want to, pink head, black body, chartreuse tail, which is a very popular one, or if you're up north and you're fishing more, you want some shad patterns, they have that in that. Make sure you rig it up with the scope-eye jig head. Also, B&M poles. We love B&M poles. Of course, we use them to catch everything. Of course, I've been using Sam Super Salty lately to catch stripers. And so it's pretty fun.
Sam Heaton?
Yeah, Sam Heaton. And so we've been using his rods, and they're like popping rods, and they're like inshore fishing rods. And so he has, I think he has 2 spinning versions and 1 casting one. We've been using the casting one a lot, using it with spoons. So make sure you check out Sam Super Salties with the B&M poles, or if you're trout fishing, brim fishing, cat fishing, like I said, crappie fishing, you can check them out at bnmpole.com. All right, JE, if they want to find out more about Minn Kota, where would they go?
Well, Brad's YouTube page,
Yeah.
and then MinnKotaMotors.com.
There you go. There you have it. Like I always liked in the show, make sure you keep your hook sharp, lures in the water.